one of our friends who, like Godfrey, has been a founder member of Stalin Society. We've worked with each other and sometimes fought with each other. And he's here, Kamal Majid. He'd like to say a few words.
Good evening. I really don't think I've got many words to say to praise for Godfrey, because everybody has already said it, that I don't believe in repetition. Godfrey and I met in the Stalin Society, both as founding members of the Stalin Society. I am glad that he succeeded in forming a party, which I am facing now, which could be considered large enough. Which also shows that if you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean everything he does is wrong. Sometimes he can prove to be much better than yourself. And ideologically, I'd like to say that I am sure Godfrey played a part in enlarging this party, and I am also sure that he had the aspiration and the ambition to unite all the other organizations in this country. Because as you know, there are many other organizations, and they are also, we disagree with all of them, but I'm sure there's also a great deal of goodness in all of them as well. I was one of the sectarians whom Godfrey knew, but I have grown older and wiser and have come to the conclusion that perhaps we should work together more. For that reason, and to put that reason into practice, I went to what are they called? Fight Racism, Fight Imperialism, RCG group on Friday. I went to my greatest enemy's party, the NCP, last night. And I am here tonight.
My friends,
I don't know why you are allowing me to be here. But I am sure we all agree that there is a great deal of work to do to bring all these various groups together so that there will be a mass party. And if you do remember, Dimitrov, who talked about mass action, mass struggle, but no taking risks. And Mao said, without the masses, the Communist Party has nothing. So let us work for the fast masses and let us unite. Thank you.
I really feel so pleased with these words of Kamal. I've always told him in the past, you're a sectarian, come to us, and he's come. I'm glad that he's given up sectarianism. But Kamal...
But you haven't.
Kamal, we are very, very, very pleased to have you here and say these words. And no doubt, if we are making any errors, by further discussions, we will endeavor to remove. One thing I can say on behalf of the CPGB-ML, this party has an open mind towards those who have the interests of the working class at heart, even if they're wrong. What we do not actually have open hearts to are known counter-revolutionaries and traitors. We will have nothing to do with them. But those people, of the movement, they can disagree with us as much as they like. They will always be welcome to come and have a discussion and let us see in which way we can move forward. We have contributions to make. There was something I really need to say that Godfrey was accused not only by opponents but also by friends of agreeing with me for no other reason that he wanted to agree with me. This is an accusation which was made by the closest of my comrades. And when they had some argument with me, and they saw Godfrey's side with me, this seemed dangerous to them, and they said, oh, but you always agree with him. This is not true. Godfrey was somebody who just did not go along with the tide and didn't think it was the fashionable thing to criticize, and therefore he must join the criticism. You criticize because you genuinely believe that you have differences with. And I'm really very happy to say that throughout my life, I can't remember a single important issue on which I had serious disagreements with Godfrey. There were sometimes disagreements, but nothing that hours, days, or weeks, or 2 weeks discussion would not solve. That's how we solve these things, because we both were comrades of each other. And my children sometimes, especially my daughter, said, Godfrey always agreed with me. So as he is in his deathbed, she said, since you always agree with Dad, can we tell Dad to tell you not to die? and he was such a courteous man. I mean, I phoned him when I discovered he was suffering from terminal cancer from India. And once I finished with crying and I picked up the courage to speak with him, I said, Godfrey, you've been all your life a kind of annoying comrade. And now you're going to do the most annoying thing, that's you're going to drop dead and leave us alone. And you know what his answer was? I'm not deliberately doing to annoy you. It just so happened, and he even said, I'm sorry it's happening. I'm sorry it's happening, I'm not deliberately trying to annoy you, but that was Godfrey. But don't ever mistake his courtesy and his gentle manner for softness, in the sense that he was a pushover and he did it. Yes, people say that he must have disagreed with you. I'm sure he nearly beat me in private, but he still loved me, and he still was a very, very close comrade. And that is what Godfrey was. We're coming to one more short, lighter interlude, if you like. As I said, Godfrey wrote a lot of poems which are all personal, and they have not been heard by anybody, because these are not the poems you normally would have taken to a public meeting. But this probably would be the only occasion we can do that. And Godfrey Cremer would recite one of the poems that never saw the outside of Alison Godfrey's kitchen. So,
well, it's been really nice actually, just to have so many laughters amongst all of the emotions. So yeah, thanks to all the contributions so far. This is a poem a short poem that Dad wrote about his love for my mum. And I'm sure he'd be quite embarrassed if it's now being read out loud, but there you go. He can't complain. Said I to my wife, you're the light of my life, a treasure, a darling, a peach. I shall use all my charms and take you into my arms, if only the buggers would reach.
Well, there's one good thing about Godfrey not being here today. Had he been here, he would have chased us out of this hall, listening to these effusive compliments being paid to him. It always reminds me of Stalin went in 1927 to Tiflis railway station and workers at the Tiflis railway workshop to speak to them. And the chairman who introduced him, Stalin was a big man those days, and he was not the underground Georgian worker. He had become the general secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union that was striding forward. And the chairman made a lot of remarks praising Stalin. And Stalin's turn came to speak, and he stood up and said, comrades, this is the kind of praise that's heaped on the dead. I have no intention of dying yet. I wish Godfrey had been here to say that this is the kind of praise that's heaped on the dead, and I don't want to hear that. but sadly he's not there. But if there is among us anybody who is deserving of these compliments, it certainly was Godfrey. And before I close this meeting, may I say to you, there is on every single seat, or there should be, if not come to us, a piece of paper asking you to leave your name, address, telephone number, email, or however you want to be contacted, so that we can contact you. We promise you we will not pass this information to Her Majesty's Intelligence Services. It will not be passed to the GCHQ at Cheltenham or any other place. It is so that we can inform you of our activities. Our party is growing, and we can't always contact you personally. We need to be able to contact you by email or telephone or whatever it is. And please, the best compliment that you can pay, like us, to Godfrey is help us so that we can liberate humanity. It is our common endeavor. It's not a private concern of the members of the CPGB-ML. It is something that concerns everybody. Secondly, when we have finished, which would be after the next item, we'll all be standing to sing the hymn of the international proletariat, namely the International, which was written by a communard, literally at the barricades, as the commune was coming to an end. May I say, don't get away from your seats. We need to bring you the drink before you get up, because the crowd gets so much we won't be able to bring it to you. We're going to bring the drink to you, and then the rest of the proceedings will be announced as time goes on. We will be initiated the drink. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate very much that you could share with us our grief at Godfrey's passing, and also our joy at celebrating his life. Thank you once again for being with us.